Hello everyone, this is Michelle from Michelle's Craft Cottage. Thank you for joining me tonight. I am coming to you from a slightly different location over on my desk, so it might look a little different, and I'm using paper instead of my plastic because that was doing a lot of reflection. Hi Vesta. Tonight I'm featuring the fabulous sayings for my message, and I'm featuring Delicate Dreams DSP. Okay, so let's start with the pieces I told you to cut. Cut cardstock 5.5 by 8.5, traditional size, at 4 1/4, score at 4 1/4. Then you need another additional little tiny piece, 1/4 by 5 1/8. Let me take a deep breath and slow down. Hi, Susan. You need some coordinating cardstock. You need 2 pieces at 4 by 5 1/4. Basic white, berry vanilla, whatever you'd like. 2 1/8 by 4 15/16. I know that's an odd size, but that's what the girl I followed did, and you want to emboss that piece. Then you need another small piece of 1/2 inch by 5 1/8, and then you need a 3 3/4 by 4 and a scrap for your 3 3/4 by 5 and scrap for your sentiment. Coordinating DSP, 1.5 by 9. This one is scored at quite a few. I think you'll see a pattern here. 7/8, 1 7/8, 1 1/8, 1 7/8, 2 1/8, 2 7/8, 3 1/8, 3 7/8, 4 1/8, 4 7/8, 5 1/8, 5 7/8, 6 1/8, 6 7/8, 7 1/8, 7 7/8, and 7 8 1/8. We're going to burnish this together, so I didn't want you to burnish that. Liquid glue, dimensionals, I hope I grabbed dimensionals, and some tear and tape. Stamp sets for your sentiment or your greeting. Die to cut your sentiment, or you can fussy cut it. Coordinating inks, coordinating ribbon if you desire. I'm not using ribbon, but I'm going to show you how you could use ribbon. And coordinating embellishments. So I got this inspiration from Melissa's Crafting Treehouse. Although she used cardstock, this is another card I'm thinking of. So that's where I got the inspiration, was from her. Okay. I have done these before, but not in that same pattern as she has. Okay, so what we're going to do first is take that, you're going to fold and burnish your pieces. So I want my lump inside. So I'm going to do my card base. I'm not used to having paper anymore. It slides around too much. Okay, so that's my card base. Now we're going to take the, I'll put it here, I guess, that strip of paper, and you want to do mountain, valley, valley, mountain 4 times, okay? So I'll show you. I'll start from this end. So we're going to do a mountain, okay? Then that next little piece that's real close to it, you're going to do a valley, okay? And then you're going to do another valley, and then a mountain, okay? So you're going to end up with a pattern like this, with just a small piece. So again, we're going to do, I did a mountain, valley, valley, mountain. So we're going to do a valley. Wait a minute, I got to think about this. No, sorry, that's a mountain, valley, then another valley, and then a mountain. Okay? A mountain, a valley, and then a mountain. Okay? a valley, and then a mountain. Okay, so what you're going to end up with these little pleats. Can you see those? Okay, so I'm going to burnish it, then I'll bring it up closer. So now let's burnish them. Be sure when you burnish that you are looking at the top and the bottom to make sure you're getting your folds correctly. Okay, so that's my first mountain. Another mountain, so you know that the valley down there is getting it too. Another mountain. Another mountain. If you have any questions, just ask me. Mountain. 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 And then mountain. Okay? So this is what it's going to look like. Okay? So now we're going to turn it over and do the valleys as well. So we'll do the valley, which looks like mountains from this angle, but just make sure you're looking here to make sure they're straight. Okay. Oh, it looks a little crooked. Fix that. Okay. And like that. Okay, so then it looks a little better when it's been burnished on both sides. Okay. Everybody with me? Vesta, are you making along with me today? Okay, that's the end of clue number 1. This is clue number 2. So now this paper has come out to be 1.5, which is what we cut it, by about 5 1/8 now, okay, with all those folds. So you're going to take this and you're going to take your tear and tape and you're going to put on 2 strips. So I'm going to measure this a little ahead of time because I can't do well with the roll at the same time. Okay? So you're going to hold this down as best you can. I don't like that one. That one looks a little crooked. I don't know why. Maybe I scored it a little crooked. Okay, so now you're going to smush this together as best you can. And you're going to start. So it's got enough folds that you can put one finger on each of the underneath pleats. So once you're sure that this is as close as it can be, you're going to put your tear and tape about 1/4 inch from the edge, from the bottom edge or top edge, whatever that may be. Okay, so continue to hold them as you're putting down your tear and tape. I made mine a little longer than I need to. Okay. Just watching, Vesta? Okay. Okay, so now I'm going to take another piece of tear and tape. I ran out of my regular tear and tape, so I'm using some that I use for my folios and stuff. So I'm going to check it first so I don't waste any. And it should be about here. Okay, so again, keeping this as flat as I can get it, finger on each fold. I'm going to start down here and go about 1/4 inch from the bottom, which I mean over here. Okay. This stuff is so sticky. Okay. And go all the way across. Again, I got a little extra. Okay. So that will hold all your little pleats in place. Okay? It also kind of buckles it a little bit, but we can work with that and get that out. So make sure you're checking your directionality. This one doesn't have too much directionality. So I'm going to put it, that's a 5. So I said scrunch your DSP and audition it on your white cardstock. And that should not be white cardstock. Oh yes, that's this one. Okay. Okay, so you're going to make sure that it is, and you might have a little short or a little longer than you need it. Depends how well it got scrunched. Okay, and I am going to put it all the way to the bottom. Okay, so, and I got, mine is just about right. Okay, so now I've auditioned it. I know where I want to be. I want to be at the bottom, and I got just enough for both of those on the sides. So then it says, take off the tear and tape papers. And then you're going to start. Now it takes 2 hands to do this. You're going to be holding up one edge while, like, in my case, I'm doing my left side first, except my finger's stuck. My left side first, so I make sure that I'm not beyond my white and crooked. And then I'm going to go all the way to my right. Okay, I'm a little bit below here, but I don't think we're going to notice it when we're done. See if I can get that up. This tape does not let you budge a bit. It looks fairly even. Okay, so I'm going to cut this tiny bit off here. Okay. Yeah, it says you may have a little cardstock on each end, just cut it off. I managed to put it over to the left far enough so I didn't have to worry about that. Okay, that's the end of 2. Now we're going to add this piece of cardstock. This is the embossed one. I told you to emboss one. We're going to put that, like, we're going to make sure that we have all the edges the same as best you can. So I'm going to, oh, my glue's way over there, so hold on a second. I'm not used to working on this end of the desk, but I will be more often, getting used to this end. Okay, that's pretty centered, and I hope straight. Okay, so I'm going to glue like I usually do, 1/2. Looking forward to making this. Papers are cut. Oh, good, good. Okay. And because it's and because it's embossed, I like to add a little bit of glue in the middle, so that in case I don't get it down well. Okay. Now centering it here, the pleated curtain below the embossed piece. So because you have that white piece, it's going to go a little above the edge of your embossed piece, okay? But try to make sure left to right you're as close as you can be. Okay, now I have a border here about the same as the others. Now I'm going to glue down this piece. Now, I've made curtain cards before, but I haven't made this pleat before. So I loved the way she did it. So I said, you know, I got to give that one a try. I haven't done that. So there. A little bit crooked. Okay, centering here the pleated curtain below the embossed piece. That's the end of number 3. Hi, Jane. Now number 4. I'm going to set this aside for a second. It says take your 1/4 inch by 5 1/8, coordinating color, remember? And you're going to glue it to the 1/2 inch by 5 1/8. You want to put it in the middle, okay? And because it's really hard to cut at a 1/4 inch, you can't tell if you've got it exactly on 5 1/8 because it doesn't, it doesn't cross that. So I'm going to glue it and then I'll just snip off the little piece. I'd rather have a little more than I need than not enough. So you're going to put that in the center. Okay, oops, I just moved it. If you're not used to working with little pieces, this can be tricky. Okay. Let me put some glue. Get it centered before it dries. Okay. Okay. Anybody else here? Tony said she wasn't sure if she's going to be able to come. No, Vesta said that. Vesta said she wasn't sure. I don't see Tony. Is Tony here? Marilyn, hi. Susan, hi. Didn't see you guys pop in. I guess, so busy looking at my stuff here. Okay, so now it says audition this piece because you want it to bridge between the top pieces and the bottom pieces. So you want it to barely cover over the pleats here and cover up the line between the two. Okay, does that make sense? So you just want to be able to get an idea. So here I'm auditioning it so I can see what I need to do. And it's just a hair over. So I'm going to clip that off. And I expected that because, like I said, it's hard to get that length. Oh, I'll cut it crooked, of course. I can't see straight at all anymore. See if I can fix it. Made it the other way now. Okay. That works. Okay, then it says add tear and tape to center it here using tear and tape. So I'm going to just run because it's a lot easier because if you put glue on here on this strip, when you're trying to put it on here, it's got different levels to stick at. So you want to use the tear and tape so that you're going to get as much coverage with the tear and tape as that touches the surface. Does that make sense? Okay. My crooked end. Don't tell anybody, that's all. Okay, so I'm going to burnish that with my fingers. And I'll take that off. So I know about where I want it because I sampled it auditioned it. So let's make sure I'm straight though. Now I'm using the little dots on this here to help me make sure it's as straight as possible. Don't guarantee it'll be perfect. Okay, there we go. So then press hard on that. It's only going to connect to these pieces that are high. It might make a little bit of connection with the pieces in between, but for the most part it doesn't. Okay, so that's the end of number 4. So I said stamp a sentiment on your scrap piece, and I didn't bring one. On a scrap, oh no, this is for the inside. So on this piece 3 3/4 by 5, you're going to stamp a sentiment if you desire. And as you know, I don't usually do that. And then we're going to adhere it to this 4 by 5 1/4. And we're going to stick it inside the card. But yes, I don't have a piece of scrap, so I will get one. Nope. Okay, so let's glue this down. Then glue the other side. Okay, and it says center and adhere inside the card. So I'm going to center as best my little eyes will let me. Having some problems with my eyes, and I couldn't understand why everything was coming out crooked. Come to find out, glue. Come to find out I have a, what did they say it was? A fold behind my eye that will eventually turn into a torn retina. So right now they can't do anything about it, but the tear causes me not to be able to see real straight. So my cards have not been coming out as straight, oh God, as straight as I usually have them. So it's been pretty frustrating. Try that again. So they said there's nothing they can do. We just got to wait until it becomes a torn retina. I had a torn retina about a year ago, which it was not too long after I had my cataracts done. And supposedly torn retinas can happen after you have cataract surgery. So in my case, it happened like a few months after. And now this other one has got a wrinkle in it. And we got to wait till it actually tears before they can do anything. So lucky me. Okay, so that's centered as good as my little eyes will do. Okay. And now number 6 says, I said add a ribbon as desired. Now, before you glue this on, instead of putting that piece of cardstock, you can put a piece of ribbon and wrap it around the back. Coordinating ribbon. You could put blue, you can put the brown like I did, and it would look really pretty with a ribbon rather than just a strip of paper. But I am doing it with a strip of paper. But I just wanted to let you know that you can do a strip of ribbon here, and then when you're done, you can do one of those faux knots. Glue it in the back here and here. One strip, and then when you're done gluing this piece on, you can make it into a faux bow, which is just another piece of ribbon that goes around it. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so it says, and you know what, I forgot to do the part for the ins. No, I did it already. We did the inside, right? Yeah. Okay. So we're going to glue this here, straight as possible. I think I felt that slip. Yep. Okay. Okay. There you go. Isn't that a pretty card? Now we're going to, I got to get my scrap piece of paper. We're going to stamp a sentiment, and then we'll add it to the top part. And you could add it here, you could add it there, you can add it in the middle, you can do whatever you'd like. And let me get a scrap piece of paper. Goodness knows I got tons of scraps of pieces of paper. Okay, so we're going to stamp. I've chosen to use You're on My mind. As we've talked about before, that can be used for so many things. It can be used for sympathy, you can be used for birthday, and then you just stamp inside what you want if it's a birthday card. I can empathize with you on the eye situation. Yeah, I know you can. Looking forward to making this. Papers are cut. And I love this paper. I have almost used it up. I had to order another pack. I think it came in. No, it's coming in Wednesday, I guess. Because I've used it so much for my classes and for my groups that I belong to there for Fun Folds. I just love this paper. So if you've never seen this paper before, it came from the convention up in North Carolina. So I loved it. So there was a few left on some tables after everybody stamped. So I took ones that were clean. I'm really having a hard time with my videos when I look at them after, and it's the glare on there. I really don't like that. So I might go back to paper, which I hate to do. So let me go cut this on my cutting machine, and I'll be right back. Okay. So I want to use dimensionals to lift this up. I was thinking, like I had mentioned earlier, maybe put it here. That leaves a lot of empty space at the top, which I don't like. But it looks kind of nice there. I don't like it in the middle. So I'm going to put it over to the side. Maybe I'll go to this side for a change. I always tend to go to the right. So let me get my dimensionals. Excuse me. And I'm going to put them in the corner. 4 corners. Anybody else here? Shelley, can they laser tack the tear? Well, right now it's just considered a wrinkle. That's what they did when my retina tore. They lasered it back together. Um, but this has not gone to that stage yet. So they said there's nothing they can do about it till it tears, unfortunately, which really bothers me because that was probably one of the scariest things I've ever had happen to me. I was laying in bed. I always read in bed late at night. I'm a night owl. And I kept thinking something looks funny in my eyes. What the heck? It looks weird. So I kind of let it go. And in the morning when I got up, I could see blood in my eye. So I ran to the mirror and I was like, oh my God, I got blood in my eye. I started to panic. I was like, what happened? So I went right down to the doctor, and the girl said, do you have an appointment? And I said, no, but I got blood in my eye. She said, have a seat. Oh, I just smeared it. We'll get the doctor to see you. Okay, embellish as desired. And I don't know if you guys had this happen to you. Look at this set of embellishments. They were on the edge of the paper, and when they cut the paper, they cut the edge of you can see they're flat on one side. They cut the edge of the embellishments too. I was not happy about that. Anyway, so they repaired it, and I went for my annual just a few weeks ago, and I was noticing, it's like I can't get anything straight lately. What is going on here? So I was getting kind of frustrated about it. So when I went for my annual, my doctor was on vacation, so I had an older gentleman who is retired from ophthalmology, but he was filling in for mine. So that's my card. So he's the one who told me, he said, you have a little wrinkle in there. And I said, and he showed it to me. They took a picture of it and showed it to me. And it's probably about, I don't know, quarter of an inch long. And you can see it, it's kind of ragged like a wrinkle would be. So he said, but there's nothing we can do about it right now. He said, we'll take care of it when the time comes. So I was like, I don't like that idea. So I went home and I looked it up. And one of the side effects of having a wrinkle in your eye is you don't see straight. You like my stuff is, that's why I kept saying I don't see straight. I don't get it. So anyway, so this is the card, and this is the other one I made, the prototype. And I used different paper, same Delicate Dreams, I think it's called. Same Delicate Dreams paper, but I used more of the ones with the silver, bronze in it. But I think either one looks good. And that's why I picked the crumb cake, because it had crumb cake in both of them. And after I got it all cut, I was kind of wishing I had used green for this one. I think it would have been different. But I do like them both. I think they're both nice. And I didn't like using this die last time because it was too close to both ends. So I had to go for a bigger one this time. Or blurry vision, Marilyn? Yeah? Does that cause blurry vision? I'm trying to think if I've had some blurry vision. Like when I drive, I've noticed it's a little blurry, but mostly the lines are not straight. Maybe as I progress, maybe it'll get blurry. I don't know, but I don't like it. Oh, stinks to get old. Okay, so those are our cards. Now your pretty curtain card is complete. Take a picture of it, and I know some of you are going to do it tomorrow. Thank you, Susan. Take a picture of it and post it. I really do love seeing your cards. Thank you for joining me on Mystery Card 88. And we'll see you for 89, which will be on March 16th, because next week's my quilt club. So I won't see you on Monday. Please be sure to like, comment, and share my post if you don't mind. It's age-related, yeah. Yeah. I'm tired of hearing that. Yeah, my dermatologist calls it birthday presents. It's like, yeah, thank you. So make sure you share, make sure you post your card, and you know what would have been a good idea was to put those three right on this line, like I put one. That would have been good. Anyway, I think of them after. Thank you, everybody, for joining me. I really appreciate it. And I hope you like the card, and I hope you go and try one. Not hard to do. Just got to be a little, take your time with it. Okay, thank you very much. Bye-bye.